Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Expanded Guide. Today, the two expanded buddies, Travis and Justin, are here talking about Akachi ONYELE. She is the Mystic, and she does charges.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's it.
basically, yeah, all of her assets and enter with additional charge. She does have 5 brain, which is very nice. Very nice number to start with. And then, like, her stat line, all things considered, is also pretty good.
It is.
Yeah, like, she has a really good Mystic stat line for also having 5 brain. It's kind of wild. Her Elder Sign effect is +1, add 1 charge to an asset with uses charges you control. That's a good Elder Sign.
Yep.
And she soaks for 6 and 8, which are, like, good numbers.
It is.
Yeah.
Those are good numbers.
Because it makes, like, stuff like Azure Flame, that's the one that deals damage, less scary, and you don't have to sacrifice a lot of your shriveling scariness for that either.
Yeah.
Her deck buildings are Mystic 0 to 5, 30 deck size, Neutral 0 to 5, cards with uses charges level 0 to 4, and then Occult cards level 0. She comes in with 2 her signatures, Spirit Seeker and Angered Spirits. Spirit Seeker, you get Brain, Book, Wild on Commit, and you can exhaust it. To choose an asset you control with uses charges, either return that asset to your hand, or move all charges from that asset to your resource pool as resources and discard that asset. Very nice signature as well.
Yeah.
Akachi has, like, a lot of, like, just really good going for her. Her downside is that she's kind of just boring.
She kind of is.
Yeah.
She's a very good starting Mystic Investigator, or just like a simple one if you don't want to think too hard about what you're doing. She comes with the 5 brain. You don't have to work to get there.
Yeah.
You just get more value out of your spells. And
Yep.
for new players, that's especially nice, where they don't feel like they get one more use out of them before they feel like they're, like, sort of useless.
Yes, yeah.
All her stuff is, like, very easy to understand, but there is still some play, like some neat things you can do with Spirit Speaker. Like playing alchemical transmutation and just just throwing it away for money.
Yeah, yeah. And then you can take it. There's things you can do to take advantage of your empty spells too, but also just like returning your spells and then just playing them again is a good time. Angered Spirits is a personal weakness. You put into play in your threat area. You can exhaust a spell asset as a lightning bolt. Move 1 charge from that asset to Anger Spirit. When the game ends, if Angered Spirits has fewer than 4 charges on it, you suffer 1 physical trauma. You need to just, like, be aware of it. It's very, like, easy to manage if you don't get it, like, on, like, the last turn of the game, right?
Yeah, you're probably going to take, like, 1, maybe 2 physical trauma from this over the course of a campaign, just from being unlucky or whatever, but, like, it's not that bad.
And you have tools to help mitigate that as well in the color.
Yeah.
But what matters is that, like, just if you have Spirit Seeker out, you can manage it because you don't have to exhaust Angered Spirits. You just have to exhaust your spell assets. And I can't think of a spell asset off the top of my head that you need to exhaust to use. So you can still use them even if they're exhausted. As long as exhaustion isn't part of the cost of using it, you can still use them even if they're exhausted to Angered Spirits.
Yeah.
Her strengths, 5 brain. Approximately 30% more spell.
Both great things.
Both great things. Weakness, as we said, she's kind of like mono Mystic.
She is just kind of a Mystic. Yeah. She has a handful of other cards that she can use. They're quite strong, but which are I'm hoping they're in the video. Man,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That past Travis and also slightly past Justin didn't forget
I
anything.
don't want to name any of them in case they're not here.
But yeah, so I think she's a great investigator, as Travis said, for new players if they want to try Mystics out, because she kind of just does her thing and does it better. And let's talk about some notable cards, starting with the core set, Travis. Excuse me, there we go. That was a weird delay.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's all the good purple cards you put in most of your decks.
Yep.
We've got our Holy Rosary, which is a staple, and you find all the staple videos and the spell videos and all the other things that Justin talks about. Star these in the description.
Yeah.
And this is in one of those, but it gives you +1 brain, and that is good. That gives you 6. That's a lot.
That is a lot, yeah.
Yeah. We have Shriveling, which lets you fight with your brain, which is important because your fist is garbage and your brain is good.
Yeah, so the reason why it has a spell tag is so we don't have to, like, talk about why you play these cards, because you play them to attack, you play them to get clues, you play them to evade. We talk about them in greater detail in the spell video, and we're also not going to bring it up much more than this. I think we're probably going to talk about it at the Edge of the Earth spells where it matters, but +1 charge. Just always remember that when it comes to
yes,
this. Plus
always
1 charge.
+1 charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that like Shriveling has over the other ones, it deals horror damage, which is like a little bit easier for Mystics to heal than the health damage.
Yeah.
Arcane Initiate keeps your hand stocked with spells, great place to be. You can also take a random point of damage or 2 brains for all of your spells that hurt you when you reveal bad tokens.
Yeah.
Drawn to the Flame, to discover 2 clues. This one doesn't use charges, but it's just a solid event. Drawing the top card of the encounter deck isn't a very big deal for Akachi, like most Mystics. She has 5 brains, so she doesn't care about any brain tests that they levy against her.
You can probably kill the enemy.
Yeah, if you draw an enemy, you probably have the tools to deal with it. And she has 3 foot too, which is pretty manageable for any treacheries that care about that.
Yeah.
Warrior Protection is a good Mystic card. You should put in your Mystic decks. Emergency Cash gives you money, which is especially important for Akachi. You need that to play your spells. Yeah. A lot of Mystic assets are quite expensive, so... We have Guts and Unexpected Courage here. More of the skills that you intend to use are good.
Yeah, for sure. Keeping this going, we have Scrying. This allows you to look at the top cards of the encounter deck, but it also, has charges and costs 1, and it's a good way to potentially get another emergency cash in your deck with Spirit Speaker if you really want it. But also just like looking at the top cards of the encounter deck can help you build turns with that Drawn to the Flame that Travis just talked about.
Especially when you're playing with not very many, with a smaller collection, the Scrying can be nice for Akachi because the core set doesn't come with a level 0 Rite of Seeking, right? So you're going to be more combat oriented, and this gives you something to do on your turns when you're not fighting.
Hell yeah. Mind Wipe, you got to just treat the text box of a non-elite enemy as if it was blank until the end of the phase. There's some things you can do with this, but also just like getting rid of Retaliate or like a on death trigger can be very beneficial at the right time. Book of Shadows takes up a hand slot. You get an additional spell slot, and you get to add a charge as an action, exhausted, to add a charge to a spell as you control. This can be nice with a smaller collection if you don't have someone we're going to see in the future called Twyla Catherine Price. This is really good to also mitigate the Angered Spirits as well, to not run out of things. And also just generally, if you're a fighter and you have down times, you can just put more Shriveling into play.
Yeah, this one does also like fill a neat intersection where it gives you an additional arcane slot, so you can have a spell for fighting, one for investigating, and then like a utility one, whether it's evading or something like scrying or alchemical transmutation or whatever.
Yeah.
While also still having that sort of, you can just put charges on stuff if you have an extra action where it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Grotesque Statue, this baby's got charges. So you get a whole extra use out of it.
Oh my god.
Basically, just when you would reveal Chaos Token, you can spend a charge to reveal 2 instead of 1 and choose 1. That means you're going to pass the test. Like, that's what that means most of the time.
Also, you're probably not going to take damage from your stupid spell.
Yes.
Or, like, lose your entire turn or whatever.
Yes, yeah. It's a great card, and an extra charge on it is really nice.
It is.
All right, I'm going to keep Dunwich going because these are there's not as many cards in this one. So, Rite of Seeking, this is the clue-getting one that Travis was talking about. It gets you clues. It's in the spell video down in the bottom. Ritual Candles, if you reveal one of the bad symbols, you get +1 skill value for this test to kind of like mitigate the damage that those are going. Into a slot that's not too contested, but we've already shown you 2. But it's a good level 0 option for a hand slot if you don't have anything else.
Yeah, like a lot of the neat hand slot options cost you experience, but you still want to be spending your experience and making your spells better, because that's what you do things with, so.
Put the time code down like a freaking idiot. I'm gonna get so mad at myself in the future. Delve Too Deep, it's in our staples, it gives you more experience. More experience is good, especially for Mystics, because Mystics love experience.
Yeah.
Defiance allows you to say no to one of the symbols. You ignore its effect and its modifier of one of the symbols. This goes well with Grotesque Statue because you can kind of dig out the ones potentially that you want to get. Or alternatively, if just like one of them is going to cause you to fail, this basically just removes that symbol from the cup.
Yeah.
Upgraded Shrivelings, more damage, more brain, more horror on the level 5 version.
Yep.
Yeah. Relic Hunter and Charisma, those are 2 staples. They give you an additional accessory slot, so you can have 2 Holy Rosaries or a Holy Rosary and an accessory that does more than just Brain and Soak. And Charisma gives you an additional ally, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. You have Blood Pact here. This is a permanent that lets you add Doom to it to get +3 Brain to the skill test, and then it has another ability too. It gives you +Fist for the skill test, which I guess can be useful. Akachi does get to play like Enchanted Blade with the extra charges.
Yeah, it could work.
It's kind of neat. Yeah, this is it's a very strong effect, but you do need a way to deal with the doom that's on it, whether that's Moonlight Ritual or the new Sin Eater card that's coming out.
Yeah, as a side note, what I think that's going to be fun is the Doom archetype's going to open to more people than just Marie and Amina.
You mean they're going to print actual cards for Doom archetype besides the 5 that there are?
Yeah, thank God! So you don't need to say Moonlight Ritual and Sacrifice.
Yeah.
But this one you can't even sacrifice.
No. It'd be kind of fun if you could sacrifice your pact.
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah. We have our upgrade Light Ray of Seeking here. It gets you more clues. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have our Jewel of ONYELE. This is a very nice economy option, though it is low price experience-wise, but it's whenever anyone at your location reveals one of those, you can pretty consistently get a card or 2 resources off it every turn, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. All right, why don't you keep this going into Carcosa?
Sure. Uncage the Soul is one of the premier Mystic economy options. It also commits for 2 brains, which is great. David Renfield is the only ally that gives you +1 brain at level 0. And he also gives you a big pile of resources, which is a great place to be.
Moment of silence.
Yeah. We have Storm of Spirits, which is... actually, I think this card is really weird because it's intended to be an Akachi card. I think she even gets Storm of Spirits in some of the previous Arkham games. As, her starting card. But,
has no synergy.
Yeah, it doesn't use charges or anything.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's a great card, though. Good card.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a bit strange. That, her staple throughout the Arkham files doesn't work with her.
Yeah. Anyway, we got Torrent of Power here. This is a nice skill for her. As an additional cost to commit to a test, you spend up to 3 charges from assets you control. And for each charge spent in this way, it gains Brain and a Wild. So you can use this to give someone up to 4 Wild symbols, or up to 7 Brain, I guess.
Let's go!
It's a good way to use those extra charges you have laying around on stuff like alchemical transmutation, which is coming up, because you don't want to use it for its intended purpose. St. Hubert's Key is another accessory option. It gives you +1 brain, +1 book, and -2 sanity. It's a little bit worse for Akachi than for some other investigators, because she doesn't get quite as much value out of the book.
Yeah.
But it's still a solid option.
Yeah,
especially if you want a 3rd copy of that kind of effect.
And you could reasonably build an Akachi deck that uses books. We're not going to talk about it in this video because it's not good, but you could. There's the frickin' Empower Selves, but
yeah,
she's probably one of the best users of it, but still, we're not going to talk about it here because we want you to win, god damn it.
Jim probably uses Empower Self pretty good.
Yes, but...
But
he's Jim.
So is he that much worse than Akachi when so if you're playing Empower Self with Akachi, that takes up one of your arcane slots, you're probably not using the charges for it.
It's true.
So and what, you use your Shriveling, and instead of using your 5 brain, you're I'll use my 3 punch and then exhaust it for +2 punch?
No, I'm talking about she'll have more fun using with Enchanted Blade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. But if it was Dragon Pole, it's an even match. Winner take all there.
We have alchemical transmutation here. This one is actually a pretty solid economy option for Akachi. Cost 1 to play, takes up your an arcane slot, 3 charges, and as an action you can exhaust it and spend 1 of the charges to test Brain 1, and for each point you succeed by, you gain a resource. And then if you hit one of the bad symbols, you take damage, which obviously sucks. But yeah, as long as you can get your brain have a consistently high enough brain, you've got your Holy Rosary and your David Renfield, and play your test in 7 to 1, you're probably gonna at least get your 3 resources off of this.
I wonder what this card would have been like if instead of taking the damage, you just discarded a card from your hand.
Much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though I do kind of miss when they printed purple cards with actual downsides.
Yeah, that's very true.
The Edge of the Earth stuff with if you succeed by 0,
minor
thing happens.
I'm not gonna do that.
I don't care.
And every time I've done it, on Brandigo Thugga, it was my last action.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Spirit of Tame here. This is a really good hand slot option for Akachi, which makes sense. It's in her cycle. Gives you +2 value to a skill, to a spell test, or as an option, you can, as an action, you can exhaust it to fight at +2 punch, so at 5, which is a great way for doing that like last odd point of damage to enemies, so you don't have to waste a charge on your shriveling or whatever.
Yeah.
Then we have our level 1 Book of Shadows, which just does the charge part and also costs you a resource. It does not provide you with an extra arcane slot, which is sad.
It is sad. I never really realized how sad it was. We got Recharge. You get to choose a spell or relic asset controlled by an investigator location, and you can attempt to refill or like add 3 charges to the chosen asset. However, if you reveal one of the bad symbols, you discard it. But it was empty anyway, so why not roll the dice, right?
Yeah, spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Upgraded Scrying. It's now a lightning bolt, which is huge, big difference. And then if a terror or omen card is among them you looked at, you take 1 horror, which luckily is pretty manageable as a mystic. Very lucky there.
Yeah.
Arcane Insight. This is an interesting card that is actually, I think, much more powerful than we've ever given credit for what it does.
It's like a flashlight, but
it's
for
like,
anyone.
It's like a flashlight for anyone, and I think it works better. I don't think it works good in 3-player or 4-player. You could argue that it does, but I think it's best in 2-player when your fighter has a downturn. So what it does is while investigator's taking his or her turn, you can spend a charge. Your location gets -2 shroud until the end of this turn. You can use it on yourself or another person, and that's where it gets really juicy because you can be like, hey, fighter, go here, grab 2 clues, and keep going.
Yeah, I think what really hurts this card is that it costs 4 experience.
Yeah, 4 is a lot.
Like, for that, I could be buying a Cryptic Research in yellow or, like, 2 deductions, and it's kind of like...
Yeah, because, like, in yellow, you also don't really need it, but I do think in Akachi, it is a nice option for her to consider in 2-player.
There's potential there.
Yeah. But it's not like... The problem is that it's just kind of like...
It takes an arcane slot, and I would rather just be using...
Giving a Rite of Seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An actual clue-getting spell, right?
Yeah, so, like, if you have a lot of... As, like, Travis was saying, if you're doing, like, a Book of Shadows and you have, like, that flex spot, this could be a potential flex. Yeah. There's a lot of experience just to be aware of when it's going.
Carson will be able to play it.
Oh, go, Carson, go, Carson.
No.
Still haven't seen his deck building at the time of recording, but I think it's going to be... It's just going to say all.
Whatever you want, baby.
Just go nuts. Suggestion. This is it has 3 charges and it's an evade, and you get to add your brain to your skill value. If you do not succeed by at least 2, remove a charge. It's luck picks. Yeah. And then also when a non-elite enemy would attack you, you can spend a charge to cancel that attack. It's a nice evade spell for Akachi to consider using.
Yeah, I actually like this one quite a bit for Akachi, especially since there's like a lower level one that you can upgrade into.
Yes.
And also you can the dodge thing can be pretty handy if you draw an enemy and then you have to play your combat spell.
And it's also kind of really nice too with Angered Spirits, because we always say with lockpicks you're probably never going to break if you're investigating at 8.
Yeah.
And that's like doubly true for evade, because evade values usually hover around 3, right? So like you're never going to break a pick on your suggestion, which means that you can use your think charges on it pretty freely. The only downside is that you need to exhaust it, but just don't exhaust it when you have to evade an enemy. Like, don't be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to exhaust this to put a thing on my Angered Spirits, and then, oh no, how do I solve my enemy problem? Just don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Water Protection level 2, it helps everybody. It's in our Staples video. We talk about it more there, but that's probably what we said there.
Yeah,
well.
That's probably the gist of it.
And then we got Key of Ys. Just a good card. Just good. What number is that? Is that an 18?
I don't know, man.
1844, I think. Down there, that little red dot.
Yeah, it's like 1840.
Awesome. There's a lot of Carcosa cards. Why don't you take these ones, Travis?
Sure. We got Missive Raya, which is the first evade spell they actually printed for purple.
Yay.
Yeah.
Do you remember how happy we were?
Yeah. And then it was like pretty meh.
Yeah.
Probably because I played in Father Mateo and it just like wasn't great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's actually like pretty solid. Gives you a move action after evading, and then the downside is you have to discard a card from your hand, like whatever. Your cards cost too much money to play them all anyway. We have Arcane Research, which is huge for Akachi. Lets you upgrade your spells more efficiently, which is what you're going to be spending the majority of your experience on. So,
Yep.
We have All McBride, who can make for some fun sort of tokeny builds. If you reveal a token, you can exhaust her to reveal 3 tokens instead of 1. Sorry, when you would reveal 1. You can reveal 3 instead of 1. Choose 2 of those to resolve and ignore the other. A little bit dangerous to use with a lot of the spells that have downsides if you draw the negative modifiers, but She soaks real good for 2 money.
Yeah, definitely.
With Premonition, this is a nice little like sort of filler event you can pop into your deck and and just snap it off at the start of the investigator phase and see what you would hit. If you hit an easy to do token, you can like a safe token. You can do your right of seeking first.
Yep.
Your team can sort of play around it. You draw a -5. It's like, can someone actually succeed on a test?
Yeah.
On the -5 or whatever to use it. Not hugely impactful, but it's nice and actually like a pretty fun card to play with, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
We have Recall the Future. When you're performing a skill test, you can name a Chaos token, and if the Chaos token is revealed during the skill test, you can exhaust Recall the Future. You get +2 skill value for the skill test. This card is very similar to Defiance in that it's like a repeatable Defiance, where you get to kind of pick a token, and that token probably doesn't count.
Yes, yeah.
Our upgrade, Miss of Rayla, gives you more brain and more charges, because you just slap one of these down, you have 6 evades.
If you need that many evades,
you're not in a great place.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Upgrade Defiance. This one just ignores the effects of all of the bad tokens during the test, instead of having to choose one, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
We have Sacrifice, which is another solid economy card for Mystics. You discard purple asset, like an empty spell, for example, or an ally that has Doom on it that you don't want to play anymore. You can draw 3 cards, or gain 3 resources, or some combination there.
Nice, yeah. Really good economy, really good card draw.
Yeah.
We have Shards of the Void. This is a very interesting spell. Because it seals the 0 and has 3 charges. You can spend a charge or release a Chaos token sealed here. You get a fight, you use your brain, you get +2 brain for this attack for each 0 sealed on Shards of the Void, and for each 0 token revealed, you can seal that token, and it deals 1 additional damage. The attack normally deals 2 damage. So if you reveal a 0, you get to deal 3 damage and then put the thing on top. Your brain is really good, so you'll be able to take advantage of Shards of the Void even if there's no 0s on it. And this card will probably never run out for you. This is where Olive can come in handy because she can try to fish out 0s. And it's a fun spell, and I think with Akachi, it'll just never run out of juice. Yeah. Because it comes in with 4 charges and then a 0 as well, and then you can just keep getting more charges on it.
It depends a little bit on your difficulty, but yeah.
That is true, yeah. And then we got Seal of the 7th Sign. This seals the auto fail and uses 7 charges, so 8 charges. Wow. If it has no charges, or at least play removed from the game. After a bad symbol is revealed, so the skull, cultist, tablet, or squid, you remove one charge from Seal of the 7th Sign. This is any skill test, so Bryn will break it right away, but normal players will let it stay around for a bit.
Yeah, I definitely have memories of me desperately trying to refill this with Book of Shadows, and Bryn just like, ew, I drew the skull 3 times this turn.
And now Bryn hates taking tests. Because there's no one, but as soon as he sees Seal of the 7th Sign, he's like, book the Shroud, baby.
But Bryn, you have 2 book.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. All right. We are into Circle Undone. We have Deny Existence, the level 0, and then all the way on the other side, we have the level 5. These are 2 staples that are really good. They're very good.
Yeah, bad things don't happen.
Yeah, and then sometimes bad things become good things with the level 5 version.
Yeah.
Eldritch Inspiration, when you resolve an effect on a Mystic card that triggers when one of the bad symbols is revealed, you can either cancel that effect or resolve in an additional time. So you can choose for your Shriveling to take no horror or take 2 horror. I know which one I'd choose.
Yeah, I think that card's actually a little bit better than we give it credit for.
I agree, especially when, obviously if you use the positives ones, like Sixth Sense and all that, but we're not using those here because those are just
we haven't talked about them yet.
Yeah, actually they're not even in it. We didn't even include them. Which makes sense, because, those are just, good spells, and, there's no notable thing to be an Akachi, because we can be, Shriveling, 1 charge.
It is just the same card, basically.
Yeah. Prophesy. This is actually a very quietly successful skill, because it just gets more icons when you need them, when it becomes more tense and more doom in play. It can turn into 3 wilds if there's 6 more doom in play. Give it a shot, you'll probably enjoy it.
Definitely been overshadowed by Promise of Power, but it's still a solid skill, I think.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Sign Magic, it's fast, which is nice, and you get to hold an additional arcane slot, which can only be used to hold a spell or a ritual asset, which
pretty
luckily
handy.
most of them are.
Yeah, I think they actually all are spells or rituals. Just
not Enchanted Blade. So
no,
you can't
damn it.
You can't do the broken bandolier 3 enchanted blade teamwork deck.
I'll use my hand slot to have an extra arcane slot, so my enchanted blade takes 2 hand slots instead of an arcane slot and a hand slot.
Oh my god. But yeah, so if you want to be doing a lot of spells or rituals using arcane slots, this is a good option, and the upgraded one even gets juicier once we get to that.
Yeah.
Enchanted blade, this is a good weapon in Akachi, especially the upgraded purple one. Which we will get to. I think she can also play the blue one because it has charges, but I think the purple one's...
I think the purple one's like just a better card than the blue one in most cases, but it's...
You just don't run it because it's...
Purple level 3.
Yes, yeah.
It's hard.
But it's a weapon for you to attack with, and you can spend charges to attack at 5, which is a pretty good number.
Yep.
Yeah. Hollowed Mirror comes with soothing melody. You get after it enters play, you get to put 1 soothing melody into your hand. You shuffle 2 into your deck. If it ever leaves play, they are removed from the game. Well, they're actually put back into your bonded cards with the new errata that just came to the card.
Sure.
Soothing Melody is just heal 2 damage or horror from among investigators and/or ally assets your location. Draw a card.
Yeah, I think this is a real nice accessory for Akachi. You're going to be taking... You're probably going to start with some trauma from your arcane researches or whatever, and then you're going to be taking odd points of damage from your spells and stuff, and this is a nice way to help mitigate that. And if you guys aren't paying attention, she can play this one because it's level 0 occult.
Yes, yeah.
Which does not come up very often.
No, there's really only, like, the other one that's right here!
Wow. You want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Occult Lexicon. This one's also level 0 in occult. It has the same little dealie with the cards that go into your hand and in your deck, and then they go back when it leaves play, but the card is blood right this time. This one lets you draw 2 cards, and you can discard 2 cards from your hand. For each card thusly discarded, you may either gain a resource or spend a resource to deal 1 damage to enemy your location. The action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Great way to filter through your deck. Solid way to get resources, and like one of the best ways to deal Tesla's damage in the game, probably.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, we have our 4 of Cups here, which gives you +1 brain.
More brain in a slot that has no competition.
It does have a little bit of competition now.
It's true.
Yeah.
That is true. It gives you more arcane slots.
The star.
But they all it can hold accessories and arcanes.
Yeah,
right?
you can.
Yeah.
Each of your accessories can be used as arcanes and vice versa.
Whoa.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. I think that's in here.
I think so too.
We have Banish, which this one, I have like a vague memory of her starting with Banish and Elder Tour though. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
It could be. I don't know. I don't remember.
Anyway, this card lets you like send some non-elite enemy to the other end of the map like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't ready.
And if you revealed a good one, it does not ready.
A bad one.
A bad one.
They're good. They're good here,
but they're bad.
Yeah.
They are bad in our lexicon, but good for the card.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's Banish for you.
Yeah, it's handy. Mm-hmm. Send, especially in like this campaign, just send some.
This card would probably be fun.
Mindless dancer to the other side of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, actually. Yes, you need
just get out.
If you're playing Circle Undone, you need a plan for Mindless Dancer. This actually also, that card would be sick in Parallel Agnes too.
Yeah.
Just like, it's a 2-cost spell.
2-cost spell. Yeah, you're right.
That's all you need.
Then we have our level 3 Enchanted Blade here. It's the purple one we were talking about. You get +2 fight for the attack, and as additional cost, you may spend up to 2 charges to empower the blade. And for each charge you spend, you get an additional +1 fist and deal +1 damage. So you can spend 2 charges to get +4 fist, putting you up to 7 and attacking for 3 damage.
That's really good.
It is really good.
Yeah.
You can you also just get to stab things for 5.
Yep.
Like for 1 damage to offset your other spells.
Yep, and that's what the Spirit of Tame, a nice perk about it. This one doesn't even need to exhaust.
Yeah.
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 Sick. All right, on to Dream Eaters. Why don't you keep it going?
Sure. I have our open gates here. These are nice for some of the bigger maps or just like maps where you have to come back to the same place. It requires a little bit of meta knowledge, but it's a good utility spell for her.
Yeah, definitely.
Our Scroll of Prophecies. Mystics hurt a little bit for draw outside of the Arcane Initiate, and this lets you draw cards, so it's good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or Read the Signs, our Spectral Razor, which are both in our Staples video, and our Ethereal Form, which is like less ubiquitous but shares the same template. You add your brain to whatever skill you're using, to your book for Read the Signs, to your fist for Spectral Razor, or to your foot for Ethereal Form, and then you get a bonus.
Yeah, and this one you become a ghost, which is really cool.
It is pretty cool.
It is really cool.
Is it good?
I mean, I think...
yes.
Yeah,
but...
like, I think the card in itself is actually good. It's just, like, realistically at our table, we don't really...
It's niche.
Yeah, and also, like, evades don't solve problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we're a group of problem solvers.
Yeah, but this one, it does do a lot for its card, right? Like, it disengages from each other and engage with you, evades the enemy, and then you can just, like, walk the fuck out of there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have our Warrior Command here. This is a 2 experience spell, which lets you name a spell card and search your deck for 1 copy of the named card and draw it. Then you shuffle your deck. This card provides a niche or a nice little niche where you can use it. You can only upgrade some of your spells, or like one of spells, and then purchase 2 copies of this, as long as you're okay with those cards costing you 2 extra resources and extra action to play.
Yeah. To
fish them out of your deck. Especially like you're going late into a campaign and you only have the experience for like 1 level 5 shriveling for whatever reason. You have 4 experience left. You can pick up 2 copies of this to effectively have 3 copies of your level 5 shriveling in a roundabout way. We have Twilight Catherine Price here. She is Akachi's best friend.
They are best friends.
Yeah.
They have the bracelets.
Yeah, the friendship bracelets. She lets you get more charges on your things after you use them.
Mm-hmm. Which is like really good like for a flex Akachi. Because like a flex Akachi, you're not going to need to investigate like more than once a round. So this basically says like my Rite of Seekings never run out and my shrivelings last twice as long reasonably.
Yeah, like if you're playing a clue for Akachi, Twilight isn't so important when you're just rolling around with like 2 copies of Rite of Seeking, 2 copies
but
of Clairvoyance.
she's still good there.
Yeah.
Because she just extends the life of your spells.
Yeah, no, that's not unfair.
Yeah.
But we have Shine Trapezohedron. I think this is the video that this card gets to be in. It's here because you like to play a lot, so I'll read it because you probably don't know what this card does. When you play the cost of a spell card, you exhaust the Trapezohedron, and instead of paying for it, you test Brain X, where X is the card's resource cost. If you succeed, the resource cost is considered paid, and if you fail, you cancel the playing of that card without paying its cost, including its action cost, and for the remainder of the round, you cannot play copies of that card. So, Akachi has enough brain to theoretically pass tests that are like, 3, 4, 5 brain, and it makes up for your lack of economy.
Yeah, and I mean, like, just even looking at the cards that are here, right? Read the Sign, Spectral Razor, Ethereal Form, and Word of Command, you'll probably be able to pay those for 3. You're going to be up 4 on them because of your... Sorry, you're going to be up 3 on them because your Holy Rosary is not in play. Yep. But maybe your Tarot card is. But yeah, like, you could. You reasonably could play... Is this one of the cards that Bryn said he's always wanted to play and that is good, and he hasn't played it?
He thinks it's good, but he hasn't played it and has no evidence to back it up. Well. And I'm always like, play it, you coward, and he's like, no.
Yeah, I hate mystics. Well, there's your problem. Alright, oh.
It uses charges.
Yeah, it uses charges. That's why this one's here. So this one's legally allowed to be here. It's a level 4, 0 to 4 uses charges.
It doesn't look like it should be here, but it is.
Yeah, because it's all alone on its own page. It's like something bad happened. But this card's really cool in Akachi. I've talked about this before, but there was a patron game day where one of the patrons had an Akachi deck that used this and they were a fighter. And it's really impressive in her because it comes in with 1 charge. So you only need now to defeat 2 enemies. And then when it flips back, it comes in with another charge again, which is really cool. But the effect on it is also really strong. Like, that's not why it's like also just really good. It just makes it her quicker to get it out. But when you reveal a bad token, you get to spend a charge, cancel that token, and heal 1 damage.
You get to cancel the token, Justin.
Yeah, it's basically just like Defiance, but also healing you.
Yeah, I've put this card in my deck like 3 times, and I was like, in Guardians, I was like, sweet, I get to heal when I draw the bad token.
Yeah. No, you gotta do even more.
Yeah, and I'm always like, I read it, I'm like, oh, I get to cancel the token.
Yeah, that's really nice. Alright, we're gonna take a little quick dip in Innsmouth to just talk about these cards.
Yep.
So Innsmouth has the Bless and Curse mechanic. which we'd have to talk about every card if we talked about them in each one of these expanded guides. So you can find a link to their relevant archetype guides down in the description, which is going to be the Blessed and the Curse. Mystics can kind of...
I think it's like the paradoxical one.
Yeah, so she's going to be playing a little bit of both, but because she really is mono mystic, she's going to mostly just get the purple video. You won't need to check out the other colors if you are interested.
Yep.
Obfuscation is a dodge that you can use when an enemy makes an attack of opportunity against you, and it comes in with an extra charge. Sword Cane allows you to fight and evade using your brain once per turn, or twice per turn the turn you play it. Just a good card if you're looking for something for your hand slot and you don't have anything else, or you want to try Sword Cane. I mean, Sword Cane's also just pretty good.
Yeah, it's just a solid card.
Yeah. And then we got Promise of Power. This one wasn't in the guide. Well, we keep what the heck's going on. Maybe it's just the TV. But it's not in the guide, but it's a staple and good, and we talk about it a bunch. It's Promise of Power.
Yeah, it's technically part of the curse archetype, but it's still just like good.
Yeah. All right, we're here on Edge of the Earth. We have Dragon Pull. You have an additional arcane slot, and you get +1 attack for whenever you fight with it for each of your arcane slots that are filled. If 2 of your arcane slots are filled, this attack deals +1 damage.
It's actually kind of sick just for the arcane slot.
Yes, yeah. No, it's actually like a real... If you wanted to do the thing that Travis said of having like the flex, like the clue, the fight, the flex for your spells, this is a good way of doing it, because then you can also just like not use your shriveling and kill small things with this.
Yeah.
And then like when you have all 3 filled, you're attacking at 6 and you're dealing 2 damage. That's
pretty solid.
That's pretty solid. Down the Rabbit Hole is a fun card that allows you to get more experience when you upgrade spells. So you reduce the experience cost. Upgrade cards, thank you. Yeah, Arcane Researches spells. This one is anything you upgrade.
Yeah.
So the first 2 cards you upgrade before the next scenario by 1, and then increase the experience cost for you to purchase new cards by 1. If you're going to play Down the Rabbit Hole, you're going to want to have like a general plan for your upgrades that you're going to want, and you're going to want to put your level 0 deck with as many of those upgrades as you can get to avoid having to spend extra experience. If you do, because you need to put some cards in, it's not the end of the world. Just make sure you're getting more value out of it than you're putting extra experience into the cards you're getting.
Yeah.
Winds of Power has Akachi on the art, and if you draw it during your turn, you get to play it, and you get to place 2 charges on an asset you control.
Yeah, you still have to pay the money for it,
yeah.
But it does also commit for 2 brains, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. Close the Circle. This is the synergy card in the Mystics, where if you have... It comes with 1 charge for each class among cards you control, including this one. So it's going to come in with at least 2 charges, worst case scenario, because you're a Mystic, and then also Akachi's ability also goes off. And then you can, as a lightning bolt, you can spend a charge and exhaust it. And you can take a basic action, and you may use your brain for that action, which is good, because that's the number that's big for Akachi.
Yep.
Yeah, this gets really good, especially when we get to some of the other multi-class cards that come up. But also, I mean, like, if you're building with some of, like, if you have, like, Hollowed Mirror in your deck, if you have Occult Lexicon, if you have Suggestion, these are all good options that can make Close the Circle even more powerful. Mm-hmm. And then also getting a free charge on it is also really nice, too. Yeah. Healing Words, heal damage for among investigators at your location.
Yeah, this one, so we could have the level 0 one also in the video, but it would exist only to get the experience discount from Arcane Research and or Down the Rabbit Hole when you're upgrading it.
Yes.
The level 0 one's kind of trash.
Yeah.
This one's, like, acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Grounded, it's a Composure, costs 0, 3 experience, it's fast, you get +1 skill value during all skill tests on spell cards, and non-direct damage must be assigned to it before your Investigator card, and during a skill test on a spell card, you can spend a resource to get +1 skill value for this test.
It's kind of, sorry, this has nothing to do with Grounded, but which is a pretty good card. But this kind of wild that they printed Healing Words 3 in the same set they printed
Earthly Serenity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of, yeah.
It's kind of silly.
It's kind of just like... I actually honestly forget that this card was an Edge of the Earth.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grounded's great. Worst case scenario, it's a 2/2 soak for 0 and 3 experience.
Yep.
Yeah. Branded Cathugas, these are in our spell videos, but we're going to do a special mention for Akachi for these, because she gets an extra use on all of them, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It is. Travis, keep it going.
This is Divination and Earthly Serenity and Blur, which are mostly referenced in the spell video. and they do clues for divination and evasion for blur, and healing for earthly serenity in the same way that the Brand of Cthulhu works. So, yeah, they're all better for Akachi than other people because they get more charges.
Yeah.
Cool. We have the Cyclopean Hammer here. This is good because you get to attack with 8.
It is really good with her. It's really good with, like, pretty much most mystics. But, like, Akachi has a good fist number to back up her brain number.
Yeah.
Go Akachi.
You might want to just play this instead of your spells. I hate it.
I
hate it.
That is what it does, right? Like, it just, like, neutralizes your deck. Like, what you were going to do. It's just, I swing of the hammer.
I remember there was one Patreon gameplay where someone was, like, salting off in their little recap after, like, someone gifted me a Cyclopean Hammer and made my deck useless.
Yeah. I love that, yeah. Yeah, because so people who don't know, this is a tangent, but we love telling tangents, but
it's the actual fun part about these videos.
Yeah. It's in Labyrinths of Lunacy, is that what it's called? No, that's...
Yeah, Labyrinths of Lunacy is like the Saw one.
Yeah. So in that one, you're able to gift items to people in other groups. So someone just I think it was someone from our group gifted their extra Cyclopean hammer to someone in another group. And they were like, they came in and were like, do you want a Cyclopean hammer? And they were like, sure.
Like, I mean, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah. And then it takes over. It's just so powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have the Enchanted Bow here. This one is, you can fight with your brain. It takes up 2 hand slots and an arcane slot, which is a lot. But it's got a neat effect where you can use your brain instead of your fist to fight. You can use your foot too, and if you really want to do that for some reason. But attack deals +1 damage, and you can spend one of the charges to attack a non-elite enemy at a connecting location, ignoring aloof and retaliate for the attack. Yeah. Which can be real handy.
Yeah.
I've seen this card used to some pretty good effect.
Yeah, same. Like, even just, like, shooting a whippoorwill or an acolyte in an adjacent location, it's good. We got, what the fuck, Enchanted Bow again?
Justin.
This is a weird mistake for me to make. This is what
you've done, Justin.
I've actually even gone through, and now I know it's shocking. I actually, like, check the videos now, like the slides before.
Wow,
I know.
Quality control.
Yeah. Adds, and
that's
then,
not the PVG standard.
No, that's not how we normally do things. But there is no way I would have caught that, going through on my check. That's so wild. Anyway, we got Prophetic and Antiquary. These both follow the same structure where they come in with 2 resources. You replenish them at the start of each round. They can be used to spend for certain traits, and then you can also use them on skill tests on those traits to get +1. The Prophetic is Fortune, Spell, or Spirit. Antiquary is Favor, Relic, or Ritual. If you're playing a lot of those cards, like you're probably playing a lot of spell cards,
it's
Prophetic
Spell
is really good.
and sometimes Spirit, and it's Relic. And it's Ritual and sometimes Relic.
Yes, yeah. So it's
like never Favor and never Fortune.
Yeah, it's just really what your deck is, and if you feel like you need it. And then we got Call for Backup, which is a synergy card, because Akachi, as we said, can play a lot of these synergy things. She can splash into a lot of different colors.
Yeah.
And it just does good things.
It's just like sort of a neat option to take her.
Yeah. Boom. Oh, it is there, the Hierophant. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. Woo! These are our return 2 cards. We have Rite of Seeking level 2. It's just sort of the bridge between 0 and 4. But it's a good card to have. We got Suggestion level 1, which does not have the dodge on it, but is still evasion lockpicks. We have Clarity of Mind 3, which is a solid spell, and all the things I said about healing words apply to this too. Yeah. You got Storm of Spirits level 3, which if you want Storm of Spirits, you probably want this too. 3 damage to each enemy location.
There's a lot of damage.
There's a lot of damage, yeah. And you can test at 7.
And realistically, you only need 1 of these in your decks, because how often are you going to need 2 Storm of Spirits?
If you're doing real bad.
If you ran out of charges on your mists, that's where it's like, oh shit.
I'm gonna play evasion spells until I run out, and then I'm just gonna play Storm of Spirits.
I mean, that's good because Mists of Rel is so cheap, right?
Yeah. You auto fail your Storm of Spirits and you just lose.
Yeah. Sorry everybody, you kind of biffed that one.
Yeah. Upgrade Alchemical Transmutation, which is unironically a great card for Akachi, I think. It comes with 5 charges. Wow. And you can get 4 resources each test. And it's a brain 0 test, so like it's really hard to fail.
Yeah. And even if you somehow do, you still get a resource out of it.
Yep. Yeah. We have our level 2 Miss Aurelia, which is just the bridge between the 0 and the 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have some actually interesting cards in the Hierophant 5, which is a tarot card that gives you an additional arcane slot. And your arcane slots can be used to hold cards that take up accessory slots, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Can lead to some really neat deck building options for Akachi.
Yeah.
And then we have level 3 Sign Magic, which I have yet to play still, but I think it's a really cool card and I want to play it. It is fast to play, and you have an additional arcane slot, which can only be used for spell or ritual. As a reaction, after you activate the action ability on a spell or ritual asset, you can exhaust the Sign Magic to activate an action ability on a different spell or ritual asset you control without paying the action cost. This plays really well with that sort of 3 spell thing that we were talking about, where you can attack an enemy and then, get clues as well, or just like get some auxiliary healing off your Clarity of Mind or healing words or whatever.
I mean, even just what's here, like Rite of Seeking some clues,
or some resources,
or alchemical transmutation, and then Rite of Seeking for your last little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
It is good.
Everyone will be people clapping for you if that happens. They'll just be like, "Wow, that was really good."
You did so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Investigator Decks. We have Flesh Ward. Wow, that's fun. It's a blue card.
I thought you said these cards weren't here.
No, I'm talking about the Sixth Sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Sixth Sense wasn't here.
Yeah, they don't use charges.
Yeah.
They're garbage. Why would you?
So this is used as charges. That's why it's here. And when you're dealt damage in a horror, you can exhaust it instead of charge. Cancel 1 damage or horror just dealt from that attack. 5 times? That's a lot of value for this.
Yeah, it's solid for fighter Akachis.
Yeah. Azure Flame, Clairvoyance, they are the Investigator starter decks versions of the attacking and clue getting spells. Azure Flame notably does deal damage, which is spooky but less spooky because you still do have 6.
Yep.
But you will be accruing trauma, probably 1 or 2 from your angered spirits if things are going poorly, so just be aware of that. And Clairvoyance is just horror. The upgraded Eldritch Inspiration, play when you would resolve an effect on a Mystic card that triggers when, if, or after a Chaos token is revealed. Either cancel that effect or resolve an additional time. Basically, it's just a better version of the other one, which makes sense because it's the upgraded version.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you when it's better, but it is better. Yeah. It must be a cost experience.
It must be, and there's no symbols on it.
Yeah.
It just has got to be good. No, you have the deck. I'll finish this one off because these are all pretty simple. Robes of Endless Night, they do 2 things. They soak damage, and they make it cheaper to play your cards. The Robes of Endless Night, the upgraded version, they both reduce the cost by 1, but the upgraded version also no longer provokes an attack of opportunity, which means if you draw an enemy and you have not played a spell yet, this will allow you to play that spell and then vaporize that enemy.
The biggest thing about the upgrade, though, is only costs 2 instead of 3, which means you need to only play 3 spells for it to be valuable instead of 4.
Yes, yeah. Grotesque Statue, the level 2 version, it has 3 charges, because the other one had 4?
Yep.
And is that it?
It costs 1 more.
Costs 1 more, okay, yeah. It's a good stepping point if you are going between them. And even this one, just 4 charges, is practically the upgraded one. Whoa.
So I got a good rules question for you.
Okay.
So if I'm playing down the rabbit hole deck,
yes,
I have to purchase Grotesque Statue. It costs me 3 to put into my deck.
Yeah.
The upgrade costs 4. I can purchase it for 1 less.
So they both cost 3 if you do them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I have to play a scenario with the level 2 version in my deck?
Yes, I think you do.
Okay.
I think you do, because I think, I actually could be wrong on this. Someone on YouTube will let us know, but I think when you buy cards, I guess it really depends if you buy cards, 1 at a time, or if they're all considered to be bought at the same time, right?
Okay.
And that's a question I actually do not know. ArkhamDB does it all at the same time, so that's, what my gut says, but that might just be because that's easier to code that way, right? But I'm sure someone is typing right now, actually, you cannot upgrade cards. Actually, you don't get to play the game anymore. Oh, shit.
I don't like that rule.
But that's the rule.
Someone told me it.
Yeah. We have the upgraded Guts, just more brain, and you can draw more card if you succeed by 2, which you will because you'll have 8.
Yep.
Yeah. Upgraded Recharge. So now it doesn't, if you reveal one of the bad tokens, it doesn't just destroy the asset.
No.
Worst case scenario, you're getting 1 charge on it.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time I've seen this card played, it gets 1 charge. So that's exciting. However, if it ever works against against how fate always determines it to, you can get 4 charges on the chosen asset. I swear, every time I've seen Bryn play this, he just gets 1 charge on it.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like instead of like knocking it. I'm like, of course you get at least 1 charge on it.
No, it just always, whenever Bryn plays it always got 1 charge.
Yeah.
So, but if you don't reveal one of the bad tokens, you get 4 charges, which is a lot of charges.
It's like a new asset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't want to risk it, this is like Guts level 2.
It is like Guts level 2. They look at them, twins standing next to each other.
Yeah.
And then we got Ineffable Truth. This is the Evade one from the Investigator starter deck. And it actually is a nicer Evade spell if you want to also deal damage, because it deals damage when you successfully evade the enemy as well.
If you're a problem solver like us, not a problem putter offer.
Not that I think I've ever seen us play Ineffable Truth, but we love solving problems.
When was the last time one of us played like
an Evade spell?
I mean, just like an asset-based mystic.
My last asset-based mystic was last August when I played Dexter, Drake, Cyclopean Hammer, because I remember playing Mists in that deck.
Okay.
At level 0.
Okay.
And I stayed through the whole thing, and I even upgraded it.
Nice.
That's the exact last time I played an asset-based mystic. Yeah.
A year ago.
A year ago.
Okay.
Even if I did it recently, I probably still wouldn't have played Ineffable Truth.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm kind of playing an asset-based mystic in our
It's exciting.
Dark Matter. Yeah. I'm not playing Ineffable Truth because I get blue cards. I'm just gonna kill things instead.
Yeah, I'm gonna solve my problems. But like, we're being tongue in cheek here. It is a good evade spell if you also want to deal damage.
Yeah.
I think like it's especially good in like solo too, because you get to solve a problem, then potentially even pick something off, and you can just like fuck off and do things. Who knows? All right, Travis, it's the deck. There are so many assets in this deck.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the not assets first. We have Arcane Research because upgrading your cards is good. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah.
Deny Existence and Ward of Protection let you ignore the encounter deck. Emergency Cash, Uncage the Soul, let you play your cards. And Guts and Promise Power, just good skills. It's the easy part. Allies, we have Arcane Initiate and David Renfield because they are both expendable. One of them provides you with cards, one of them provides you with resources, and you put them in the trash whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, man, the Arcane Initiate's like gonna always hit here too.
Yep. We got our Holy Rosaries and our Robes of Endless Nights because Holy Rosary is good for the Brain Soak and +1 Brain, and Robe of Endless Night makes our other cards cheaper as well.
Yep.
We have our singleton copy of Sign Magic to enable us to play that sort of flex playstyle I had mentioned, as well as upgrading it is really cool. And a singleton copy of Flesh Ward, just like as sort of, that really could have been like anything that takes up an arcane slot.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Fuck, it could even be an occult lexicon if you're feeling spicy.
Yeah. And then we just have a pile of spells. Yeah, we got 3 combat spells and 3 clue gang spells and 2 evasion spells. I personally like Mists. I like the action economy on it myself.
Yeah.
It's
also cheaper.
Yeah, it's true. I like playing. We're playing 2 Rites of Seekings and 1 Clairvoyance. I generally prefer that because we're starting with 2 horror trauma, and we're going to probably get some amount of physical trauma from our Spirit Speaker.
Yeah.
And Rite of Seeking does not deal damage to you; it just ends your turn if you screw it up. I mean, like, not that you have much agency in it, but. And then we're playing 2 Azure Flames and 1 Shriveling because we have slightly more health soak in this deck.
Yeah, David,
There's David, the Robes, and Arcane Initiate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, you're most of the times, we didn't mention this when it came to Azure Flame, but there is 1 Elder Sign, 1+1, 3 zeros. So there's 5 of usually.
It's like 2 zeros on normal.
It's like 4 or 5 of the 16 tokens. But on the skulls, you can get, like, on the other symbols, you can usually get 2 skulls.
You usually start with like 4 symbols in a campaign, and then an auto fail.
Yeah.
And then you'll get like 1 or 2 more over the course of the campaign.
Yeah, so It really comes down to, it's just like look at your deck and be like, what am I okay with taking more of, and you can use that to choose your damage spells.
Yeah, I'm sure you could sit there if you really wanted to like analyze each campaign, figure out what's optimal.
Don't do that.
I just pick the ones that I like.
Yeah, just honestly, you'll be fine. Yeah, I believe in you. You're gonna win, and everyone's gonna clap for you when it's all done.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed this expanded guide. We're going to be back to talk about Patrice Hathaway next. That's good. There's going to be a lot of jokes in that video. I can already just feel it. We're going to have a great time. Huge thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel. I was actually just thinking today that about this time last year, I started the polls for the expanded guide order. That's how long we've been doing them.
We're like not even halfway.
No, we're over halfway now. We're over halfway
okay.
now. Yeah. Thank God. All right.
I've been done making these for over a year.
Yeah, I know. Right? It's wild. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. And as always, a GG's.